think we kicked things off pretty well there. That was Chris Cole. Thank you for coming to Right This Democracy, No Kings Rally 2. My name is Alex Villamil. I'm one of the co-organizers of this event. I wanted to point out that the organizations are tabling with us today are the Newtown Action Alliance and Junior Action Alliance. Can you guys hear me? Hold on, let me turn up the volume. Hold on. How's this? A little better? All right, I'll try to be a little louder. So I'm going to start again. I just want to point out that we have certain tables, certain organizations tabling with us, and I want to make sure that you guys stop in. One of the reasons why we formed Right This Democracy was to organize people to get involved with different organizations. So right now we have the Newtown Junior Alliance, the Newtown Action Alliance. There's an ACLU table, Get Involved Newtown. There's a sign up for November 15th. We're going to have a meeting to see how we can get involved. Anybody who wants that lives in Newtown or in the vicinity can take advantage of that. There's a Right This Democracy table. And last but not least, Danbury Unites for Immigrants. All right. So take advantage of these folks. Any questions, any sign-ups, anything that you want to do, we need to get involved, and that's the means for us to get involved. So definitely take advantage of that. I'm going to go back to where I started here. All right, so I just want to mention one warning. I'm not expecting it in our town, but there are troublemakers or people trying to incite. Stay away from them and report them to our officers. They are here with us. Let the peacekeepers maintain the peace. Anybody creates trouble, stay away from it. I hear that Trump is trying to get us to do something, but we can't fall for that kind of stuff. We got to keep it peaceful. Thank you. After the speeches, we'll be marching down Deep Brook, which is over here. There's a gentleman over there, his name is Ed, waving over. He's going to lead us on a march down Deep Brook. We're going to go to Brushy Hill, left on Elm Street, and we're going to take a right on Borough. At Borough, where the intersection is for Route 25 in Borough, there will be our police officers who will be helping us to cross 25 safely. Also, we're going to have volunteers guiding us, making sure that we stay away from the center of the road. So try to stick with them. Go with the volunteers. They're the ones wearing the nice bright yellow, green shirts. So follow them and definitely stay safe. When in doubt, stay away from the road. That's going to be afterwards.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
If they need to drive, can they drive towards Ram's pasture and park along Elm? And then cross?
If you need to drive, yeah. If you don't want to participate in the walk, you could drive over.
But the crossing, they may want to drive up Glover and find parking, or on Main, but get to that safe side, the east.
There are several streets. You're going to have to find street parking. I know it's a little bit tricky, but if you are going to drive, there are areas to park on the side streets, even maybe even Walgreens. Also by the old police station. We are going to be coming from Glover all the way down to Walgreens. So anywhere where you can park, if it's easier for you, if it's easier to drive, get to that safe spot, get to the other side of the street, basically.
Crosswalks.
Exactly. We're going to be on the northern side of the crosswalks. How could I forget? The Newtown Democratic Town Committee is here, also tabling. Sorry guys, I'm taking you for granted. I happen to be with the Newtown Democrats, so wherever you see that Bruce flag, that's where we are. If you have any questions, if you want to get involved, this is the time to do it because we're 2 weeks away from a municipal election, so we could definitely use your help. So they're there, asking questions. You feel free to ask questions. They'll give you answers, and they'll sign you up if you want to volunteer. All right, last but not least. At the first No Kings rally, we're a part of 5 million Americans who came together to defy Trump and fascism. Today's rallies are expected to draw larger numbers. We're a movement, we're a force that is growing and cannot be beaten back by any would-be authoritarian and his goons. It is not part of our tradition to give up our rights and our freedom and bow to anyone. We have an illness in Washington, D.C. that is spreading across our land. It is the sickness of authoritarianism, of fascism, and crowning a despot as a king. This illness kills democracies and subjugates people who share a tradition of living in a free democracy. What is the antidote to authoritarianism, to fascism, to an American king? It's your vote. To stand in unison and cast your vote. Vote against kings. Vote against fascists. Vote against authoritarianism. Vote for the Constitution. Vote for our country. Vote for our freedom. Vote for our democracy. In 2 days, early voting starts in Connecticut from October 20th to November 3rd at the registrar's office, and of course, on Election Day. Show up and vote. This is our first hurdle in the fight for our democracy, and it starts with a local vote, supporting those who are fighting Trump and his agenda. I remember when we first started doing this, back in January 20th, when people all of a sudden started contacting us as far as the Democratic Party, people were worried. They were like, what do we do? How do we fight? How do we get involved? The most important hurdle, the most important thing that we can do right now is use that vote. I know municipal campaigns or elections are not the most popular ones, but these are the most important ones. These are who determine our leaders, our local leaders. And our fight to regain the White House and to regain our country starts locally. So please make sure, October 20th, early voting. Take advantage of it. Invite your friends. Multiply this crowd. But in order to take our country back, we need to use our power, and that power resides in that vote. Do not waste it. Thank you. Now I'm going to introduce two speakers from Danbury Unites for Immigrants. Lulu Castellanos. Lulu grew up in Orange County, California, raised by a single dad with her younger sister growing up. She witnessed firsthand the fear and trauma caused by immigration raids, watching friends, neighbors, and family members disappear. That experience never left her. Lulu's been in the medical field for over 10 years, driven by a deep desire to help others. 3 years ago, she moved to Connecticut, and seeing similar injustices happening there reminded her of everything she saw as a child. She couldn't stay silent, so now she helps whenever she can. Kathleen Ferguson is a Newtown resident, an advocate for the immigrant community, and a leader with Danbury Unites for Immigrants. Kathleen will share what inspired her to join the organization and her firsthand experiences doing that important work. That's a very personal note as far as the immigration group. I started when Trump became president, and I joined because of the immigration. The separation of families was shameful as far as I was concerned. The separation of people right now, with people being masked, without showing any warrants, without any due process whatsoever. We've talked about this all year, and it continues. It seems to keep getting worse. These are groups that are fighting this injustice. So please join them. But right now, I'm going to ask Kathleen and Lulu to step up.
Oh, it's a little tall. My name is Lulu. I'm pretty new to Connecticut, like he said. I've been here about 3 years. My partner is originally from here, but we moved out here just to start our lives. It's beautiful out here. But when the ICE raid started, it started bringing back a lot of nightmares, a lot of bad memories. I remember growing up And my dad was a single dad. His primary language was Spanish, and we would have ICE come to our door. He didn't know any better. He saw men in uniform, and he opened the door. He opened it with a little chain still there, and ICE took that as a welcome, and they kicked down the door. It didn't happen once, it didn't happen twice. We lost track of times. I remember seeing my 3-year-old sister being zip-tied. I was zip-tied. My dad was zip-tied. I saw my dad being kicked. This isn't unique. My story is not unique, right? A lot of children went through this during that time. A lot of parents were in fear of their children just stepping out at times because of the color of our skin. And seeing that happen again in the place where we want to, start our lives together, is very hard. I was lucky enough to find a wonderful group who is Danbury Unites for Immigrants. We help spread education. We help teach people that they have rights. They don't have to open the door. There are things they can do. We can help our community. My dad, he did his best with what he had, and he taught us to stay quiet, stay under the radar. Even now on my way here, I called him, and he said, don't do it, stay away, support from afar. You don't want to make waves. But I'm done being silent. I'm done being quiet. I'm here for my dad. I'm here for those kids who had to be zip-tied and watch their parents be zip-tied as well. That should not happen in this world. And I think groups like that are very impactful and very beneficiary to our community. So if you have any time to help out, we would appreciate it in any way, shape, or form.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. I'm a Newtowner. This has been home to my family for over 20 years. My name is Kathleen Ferguson, and after the election last year, like so many others, I was horrified at what was happening in our country, to our country, and I was looking for a way to be of service. Then in February, at a Rock Our Democracy event at Edmond Town Hall, I heard Juan Fonseca Tapia speak about Danbury Unites for Immigrants, and I found what I was looking for. Over the summer, the New York Times published a piece with Michelle Goldberg about the growing anger at Trump's mass deportation policies and the local resistance movements forming in response. Michelle said, quote, "No one is coming to save us. There's nobody exercising power on our behalf, with a few exceptions. So people feel like they have to organize to protect their neighbors as best they can," unquote. She called it the Resistance 2.0. And that's what Danbury Unites for Immigrants is doing. We are helping families to make safety plans and alerting the community to ICE's presence wherever we find it. We provide moral support and we bear witness by accompanying people to the courthouse and empower them to know their Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights in the event that they encounter ICE. And we try to help those who have been taken by ICE and the families that they leave behind. On September 3rd, a young man was kidnapped by ICE just across the street from the Danbury courthouse. I'd like to share with you a little bit about him, and as you listen, imagine yourself in his shoes. He's a husband and a dad of 2 small children. One of them is only 7 months old. He works hard to support his family. That day, he was jumped by armed, masked men, separated from his family against his will, and taken to a place hours from home where people are crammed shoulder to shoulder with little to eat and no means for personal hygiene. He was taken to a detention facility in Rhode Island. For weeks, he wore the same clothes he was wearing the day he was taken. The quality of the food was so bad and the portions so small that he lost weight. He was moved 4 more times to detention facilities around the United States, each time with no notice. At one of these concentration camps, people were starving. A fight broke out over food, and he was placed in solitary confinement. Eventually, our government deported him to Ecuador, leaving his wife and small children alone, lives shattered. We couldn't stop the kidnapping on September 3rd, and no amount of support can undo what has been done to that family. But we did what we could. We mobilized. Rapid response volunteers arrived within minutes of the kidnapping and were able to connect his wife with our post-disappearance team. That's a group of volunteers who helped her to find legal assistance, community resources, and emergency support for immediate needs like rent, diapers, and baby formula. There's a GoFundMe now raising money so she and her children can make the journey to Ecuador to reunite with the family. The good news is that we are a part of a growing national network. People are organizing across Connecticut and across the country to help, to support, to resist, because no one is coming to save us. Join us, won't you? And if you're looking for a reason, I've got two. First, you'll get to actively defend those who are being denied their rights. We know that people in the US, citizens and non-citizens alike, have the right to be free from unlawful searches, arrests, and detentions unless supported by a warrant or probable cause. But ICE is kidnapping people based on racial profiling, condoned by the Supreme Court, with warrantless arrests and prolonged detention in overcrowded facilities and inhumane living conditions. You can make a difference. And second, you might just find your tribe. Since joining Danbury Unites earlier this year, my husband and I have met so many wonderful, talented, creative, courageous people. We get connected and energized through the work, like court accompaniments, know your rights trainings, canvassing, as well as social get-togethers that include 2 book clubs. So please stop by our table over there, join us on one of our regular welcome calls, and learn about the many ways to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. You can make a difference. As I mentioned earlier, what got me started back in 2017 was the separation of families. And when we formed a group similar to what's Kathleen and Lulu are forming right now, we formed a group that collaborated with an attorney, an immigration attorney, and we would support families under duress. Sometimes we'd have only like maybe 30 days to like get enough support for these one families. Back in those days, we were able to rally. We were able to like put out the word on social media and on regular media and make a difference and stop a family from being separated. I think we had about 9, sorry. Every time I think about it, it bothers me. Every time I think about the immigration issue, how the separation of families, it bothers me because it should not be happening. You can make a difference. Out of 9 families that I worked with in 2 years that I was involved in that group, we saved 7. That was huge. So get involved, go to those tables, and get organized with these people because yes, you can make a difference. Now, another group that makes a difference. I'm gonna I'm gonna ask Sophia Toledo and Madeline Marcies from Junior Newtown Action Alliance to step up. I think a few more people are coming.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia Toledo, and I'm a senior at Newtown High School and a board member of Junior Newtown Action Alliance. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak with you all today and to use my voice for those who can't. As we live in a town that has endured the mass horrors and casualties of gun violence, we are not afraid to turn this suffering into strength and to take the necessary steps to ensure that everyone has the freedom to live. too many families have had to experience the unimaginable loss of losing a parent, child, sibling, or friend to gun violence. Too many students are afraid to walk into school, unsure if they will walk out again. This is not a world that any of us deserve to live in, and it's not a future that we should accept. We all have the power to create change that we want to see by organizing rallies like this one, speaking face-to-face with senators, and being unapologetically persistent. I want to be able to live in a future where my child knows that school is a place to learn and grow and not a place to hide. Where concerts, grocery stores, and houses of worship are a place of connection and joy and not fear. We cannot proceed with the necessary steps to get to this place without preserving the foundation of our democracy. This should not be a political debate, but a bipartisan partnership to work as a community to value the safety and lives of others. We remember those who have been lost by honoring them with action and advocating for laws that put the safety of our communities first. We invite you all to the 13th Annual National Vigil for Gun Violence at St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C. Our town has known pain, but it also knows resilience and determination. And as members of the human race, we all deserve the same simple right, the freedom to live. Thank you and God bless.
Hi everyone, my name is Madeline Marcis and I'm a senior at Newtown High School and on the board for Junior Newtown Action Alliance. I moved to Newtown, Connecticut about 5 years ago, and I have seen the first-hand effects of the lasting impact that gun violence can have on a community. Disturbingly, the same events continue to happen across the nation every single day. We must move forward, but we must not move on. It's unfair to the children, the teachers, and the families who live with the constant fear of guilt and that knowing something could have been done. Lives are being stolen, and it's a devastating reality that we have the power to change. Through my work with Newtown Junior Action Alliance, I have learned that gun violence is not something that we need to accept. It should not be so common that people can move on so quickly from its devastating impacts. Gun violence is not a problem that can be pushed under the rug because it is too difficult to talk about. As a country, we must work towards a state where no child is terrified to go to school and where no person is scared to walk down the street. I will not lie and say that I wasn't discouraged when I heard about the threats to our democracy last November. We knew that bills would have been more difficult to pass, and finding breakthroughs in legislation would be more difficult than it has been in previous years. However, protecting lives goes beyond passing laws. It also depends on protecting our democracy itself. If the systems that allow us to vote, speak, and organize are weakened, our ability to prevent gun violence and demand change is at risk. Every action we take, every voice we raise, strengthens our ability to fight for a future where everyone has the freedom to live without fear. That is why the work of communities everywhere matters. Even if you are not from Newtown or unable to come to DC with us this year to the annual vigil, consider hosting a local vigil in your hometown. Raising awareness and advocating for meaningful change in your community will continue to send the message that we will not back down. We will not stay silent, and we will not accept a society where lives are treated as disposable. On November 1st, Newtown Action Alliance is hosting the annual Keep Kids Safe Gun Buyback and Safe Giveaway from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This event gives people a chance to remove guns from homes safely and responsibly. If you can spread the word or offer to volunteer at one of the various locations across Connecticut, that would be much appreciated. We have the power to demand change, to create safer communities, and ensure that every person can live without fear. Together, we can honor those we have lost and fight for a future where gun violence no longer steals lives, dreams, and peace of mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now from the Newtown Action Alliance, Mr. David Stowe.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I was going to talk about a few things, but Maddie actually just covered just about everything. Sorry. How's that? So thank you for coming out. You being here is so important. It's important that Americans show up everywhere. But on top of that, what's really important is that people get involved beyond just showing up at protests. Sorry, how's that? Okay. So showing up is really important. So some of the things that you can do in working with Newtown Action Alliance is, as Maddie just said, we have our 5th annual statewide gun buyback coming up on November 1st. We have flyers for that at our table there. If you can help spread the word, even if you don't have a firearm that you'd like to get out of your home, part of that day is also spreading awareness about safe storage, and all of that saves lives. Another important thing, and another way to get involved, and it's a really low bar for entry, is we have a flyer about this too. We do every Mondays, we do a luncheon lobby. It's a call-in where we focus on a specific piece of legislation, whether it be safe storage, assault weapons ban, background checks. And we have guest speakers from around the country that are involved on the front lines of each issue. We have a little bit of an educational session, and then we actually call in to congressional offices to get them to support and sign on to bills. What a lot of people don't realize is Newtown Action Alliance is the driver behind getting co-sponsors on almost every piece of national legislation. When these young people here, some of these young people here have met with senators, Congress people, and some of them have actually sat down at the White House and met with the Vice President to discuss the issue of gun violence. And part of our goal of Newtown Action Alliance is empowering young people and giving them the tools, the knowledge, and the strength for them to stand up and to have their voices heard. There's nothing more powerful, I can tell you. I've sat in on hundreds of meetings in DC. When young people are there and they know what they're talking about, that actually gets the attention of our legislators, and they are by far the most effective advocates for any particular issue. And then just one last thing, as Maddie mentioned, we have the 13th annual vigil in Washington, D.C. on December 10th for all victims and survivors of gun violence. We started this the year after the horrific Sandy Hook shooting here in Newtown, and it was going to be a one-off. We just wanted an opportunity to bring victims and survivors together, give them a sense of belonging, that they weren't alone in their little corners of the country. And when we did that, it was so impactful and so meaningful, they told us that this can't be a one-off. You have to do this every year. So as a result, we've done this every year. We've set meetings for all these people to meet with their legislators in Washington. We have educational sessions on how to lobby and to get involved on the issues. And what we're trying to do, like this No Kings rally, a national movement, and it's being branded with the hashtag Freedom to Live. There's a QR code and some flyers back at our table. If you and your community want to get involved, it could be just 5 people at your house to have a vigil for victims and survivors of gun violence. It could be standing up in front of a legislator's office building that opposes gun violence. Whatever it might be, consider getting involved in that way, because your voices matter, and the more you get involved, the more your friends and family see you, and then that means more people are going to be standing up. And the 5 million that was at No Kings last time might be 10 million today, and in a few months it might be 20 million, and that's how we affect change. So thank you for everyone coming out, and please get involved.
Thank you. Great job, guys. Now, a good way to avoid kings is by voting local, as I mentioned earlier. And now I'm going to introduce you to our Democratic First Selectman candidate, Mr. Bruce Walsack.
Hey, Bruce! Yeah! Have you seen my signs? There's not too many of them out there. Anyhow, I'm Bruce, and I am running for First Selectman, and I'm running on the Democratic and the Independent Party ticket. So some of our officials didn't want us to come out today. They don't think they like our signs. They don't like us. They want us to stay home. They think we're nothing but trouble. They want us to be silent. But we're not going home quietly, are we? No. Are we? No. We invited our state and local officials to hear us, including your first selectman. They didn't show. They don't want to hear you. Will you be heard? Yes. What? Yes. Our country's under extreme pressure. We know that. Not just our freedoms, but our Constitution. They packed the Supreme Court on us. They've twisted the laws. They want us to silence free speech. They packed the Supreme Court. They've twisted the laws, and they want us to be silent with no free speech. They're gerrymandering to steal our votes. They're using immigration enforcement as a weapon to intimidate communities, not protect them. When you rally and speak out, they call you un-American. But freedom of speech isn't negotiable, and democracy isn't for sale. Is it? No! Is it for sale? No! If I have the honor of being your first selectman, I'll stand shoulder to shoulder with you. I'll support freedom of speech, even if I disagree with some of the voices. I'll support our right to assemble, honest discourse, diversity, and above all, democracy. We rally today for justice, dignity, and the right to be heard. But here's the truth. We need your help. Your vote's your power. We must use it and see it. You must show up at the polls and vote. In 2023, less than 40% of the voters showed up to the polls. Are you ready to vote like your rights depend upon it? Yes! Will you make your voice heard on November 4th? Yes! All right, let's go fight.
By the way, I just found out that it's Mr. Walczak's birthday, so let's give him a present on November 4th.
Yeah! 59 and counting backwards.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bruce. Happy birthday to you. Woo! I like to be serenaded by serenaded. Sorry, my Spanish gets in the way sometimes. Serenaded by at least 500 people or so. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to introduce you now to my co-organizer, one of my co-organizers, Mr. Jim Allen.
I have a question. Do you love freedom? Yes! Do you love liberty? Yes! It sounds like you love America. Yes! I love America too. It's not just a beautiful land. It's more than its people. It is an idea, a promise, a knowing that our inherent rights, even if violated, cannot be taken away. It is an idea enshrined in our founding documents, affirming our inherent right to alter or even abolish a government that threatens these rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Are we going to stand for these ideals? Yes! Are we going to stand on the shoulders of those who came before us in order to preserve the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity? Yes! We the people, in order to form a more perfect... I thought you might know that one. And now, please welcome my dear friend, a co-founder of Rock This Democracy, Reverend Matthew Krebin. How we doing out there? It's good to see so many of you gathered here today to express your desire to have a grand and great democracy not perish from the face of this earth. We are here today, my friends, because we got some serious work to do as a nation. We are here today because we have assessed what this current administration has done and is doing, and we have deemed it unacceptable and a failure. Indeed, recent events have demonstrated many members of this current administration have failed to demonstrate basic competencies that we expect of those who would serve the public interest. Unfortunately, those in position of power currently seem to lack the necessary critical thinking, emotional maturity,
and need some assistance from we the people to develop their personal, social, and civic competencies. Here we are at the beginning of another school year, and so it is perhaps appropriate for us to require the current administration to go back to school, for it is failing in its responsibilities to the Constitution and to the American people. We the people, that's right. And we the people expect an administration that can at least do basic math. And they are failing in that. Let's give one example. Immigration policy, my friends. This administration has stated that it has a goal to remove 1 million undocumented individuals this year. It is also stated that the goal is to remove documented violent offenders, which it claims are somewhere out there. Let us ignore for the moment that this administration has continued to demonstrate an inability to tell the truth, including publicly declaring that people like us gathered here today are actually violent people. We are part of the violence that they say they want to clean up. That should cause us pause. But let's look at the basic math. Let's not even look at all of that. Let's just look at the basic math. They forget that we are paying attention and that we can do the math. That means that if this current administration believes there are 1 million undocumented individuals who are violent or deserve expulsion, the problem with this is that it is clearly a false mathematical formula. Currently, there are a total of 1.9 million people, total, incarcerated in federal, state, and local facilities in the U.S. 1.9! And only half of those have been convicted of violent crimes. Those are mostly American citizens. There is no way on God's good earth that you can find 1 million people who are committing violent offenses unless you are looking for them and looking at people like us, like all of us, and saying that we are the problem. We are violent. And that is what they are doing. They are failing basic math. My friends, these numbers do not add up. And of course, the behavior of ICE and federal agencies do not pass the smell test as well. When you are grabbing people out of schools, churches, places of employment, when you are accosting grandmothers, fathers, wives, people showing up at immigration court, seeking to legally follow the rules, when you pull American citizens, including children with darker complexions and slight accents, out of their homes or into unmarked vehicles, it is clear that you are playing the game, the numbers game, with innocent lives. So this administration fails in basic math. And we demand accountability. We need some of our math teachers. I know we got some math teachers here. We need your help. These folks need some remedial training in basic math. Well, we're getting to that, believe me. Let's turn our attention to civics competency now, shall we? From all appearances, this administration seems to be sincerely lacking in its ability to understand and function under our Constitution and its framework. It is targeting political opponents, appointing clearly unqualified loyalists in order to threaten personal and political enemies. It is disregarding court orders. It has shown an erosion of federal government independence by filling independent federal agencies with loyalists, by firing independent watchdogs, inspectors generals, military legal advisors. It has coerced institutions, threatening universities, law firms, threatening compliance through investigations and revoking of security clearances and withholding of funds. It is seeking to punish protected free speech. It has actions against the media, threatening through the FCC, licensure, seeking to reduce and limit and criminalize news activity with regard to the Pentagon itself. It has used inappropriate use of emergency powers. It has deployed the military domestically. It is weakening congressional authority. Its actions have ignored bipartisan legislation and funding bills. It's imposed tariffs without congressional authorization. It has violated legal due process. It is questioning constitutional protections, and it is attempting now to revoke birthright citizenship. My friends, it is failing in basic civics. We need some of our teachers to volunteer. They need to learn basic civics lessons. Finally, my friends, this administration has failed in basic ethics and decency. It is personally benefiting from office. Our own president and his family have made billions of dollars from his presidency selling crypto and other schemes that line their own pockets. This administration has put people in concentration camps, and I do not say that lightly. Now, some people say, oh, but those are people who are violent. Those are people who belong to some kind of gang or whatever else. Forget for a moment. I don't care if they do belong to a gang, which most of them do not. You do not put human beings in concentration camps, period. This administration is taking young U.S. citizens out of their nation. Now, some have called this deportation. That is wrong. Young U.S. citizens have a right to be here. They have never can be deported. They have been kidnapped. That is illegal. And it is immoral. This administration is now blowing up vessels in the Caribbean, claiming that they are part of a drug cartel without any authorization. Beyond the fact that this is not constitutional, it is also unacceptable to be murdering and slaughtering people who have not even been identified and who you do not show any moral sense of accountability to explain whatsoever why you would slaughter people on a vessel. That is unacceptable. My friends, this administration and those who serve it are abusing nonviolent protesters, including shooting people with projectiles, including a colleague of mine, an Episcopal priest out of Chicago, ministers. This administration continues to lack some of the basic decency of how it treats its own citizens. During this shutdown, what does it say? Well, we're going to make our Democratic places suffer more than our Republican places. What kind of leadership is that? That is not merely bad politics, it is bad humanity, and it is indecent as well. So, my friends, let's give them some basic math on this day. On this day, we join with millions of our fellow citizens to stand up and to affirm that we believe in our democracy and in the rule of law. That's millions and millions of people who refuse to give in to complacency, fear, or violence. That is us, my friends. You are the math. You are the millions. You are part of that. We're going to teach them basic math. Second, some basic examples. 250 years ago, the people of the colonies refused to accept that a king could rule over them, and that they did not, and that they wanted robust representation. Indeed, the rallying cry for those people long ago was no taxation without representation. If you know anything about what is happening with our current tariffs, it is that we, the people, are being taxed through the whims of one who is not authorized to do those taxes in such a way as our Constitution expressly says it is the responsibility of Congress to do that. And thus, basic civics remind us, just as our forebears 250 years ago said, we don't want a king, we don't want a king today either, do we? We will not accept. We will not, no kings, no kings, no kings, no kings, no kings, no kings. No kings. And finally, my friends, a lesson in basic morality and decency. We are here today because we believe in decency. We are not here because we are an angry mob. We are angry, and I hope all of us will be angry. But let us not turn that anger into hatred, because that will not serve us. Let us turn that anger into a fierce determination that we will stand up for this nation and for all the peoples of this land, regardless of their status, whomever they are, for they all deserve to be treated humanely. They all deserve access to all the prosperity and the opportunity that we have been given ourselves, that no one needs and should deserve to be treated and mistreated because of the color of their skin, the language that they first learned to speak, or whatever else somebody else says makes them unacceptable. It does not matter who you love. It does not matter who you live with, who your neighbor is, where you live. Whatever it is, there's no justification for the mistreatment of any person, not only in this land, but around the globe. And we are here because we are angry when we see our fellow human beings mistreated, when we see those who are wealthy and powerful profiting even more while others continue to suffer. We are here because we're going to turn that anger not into violence. We're going to turn that anger into a determination that refuses to back down, that says we will rise up just as we are in a moment or two, and we are going to walk out to the streets, and we are going to let Newtown see. We're going to let Newtown see that there is a determined group of folks who have joined millions of other people on this day to say, we will not stand for this because we love this nation. We love our citizens. We are a people of love. We are a people of compassion. We are a people who are determined that that will be it. And so let me tell you this, my friends, on this day, as I close this out, don't let what is happening steal your joy. Be angry, but be joyful, because you've been given the opportunity to be here in this moment. This moment is your moment. This moment is our moment. This is a time for us to stand up, to say, yes, we know what really matters, and we're a part of what really matters, and we take pleasure and joy in being a part of that kind of movement. So let us stand today, and let us walk today now. Let us go out to that street, and let us do it joyfully. If somebody gives you the finger, you give them a wave. You smile at them, you say, I'm doing this for you as well, because I love you enough, even though you hate me, I love you enough to want what's best for you too. Let us do that, and if we do that, we will indeed not only win this day, but we will win this moment, and we will win the future. Thank you. God bless.